I am Senna. I am a 9th grade student from Cikal Setu Middle School, and today I'll be talking about the captive breeding of endangered species. Captive breeding is the process of taking endangered animals like rhinos and elephants and putting them in a captive environment and to breed them and to probably reintroduce them to the wild. The characteristics of these programs usually include that these animals are found in zoos or the wild, the environment is a captive or maybe there's an outdoor, and usually the workers are zoo workers, scientists, and conservatives. The process starts when a team of people try to find like endangered animals in zoos or either the natural environment and in the ecosystem. When they found these, they are transported to the captive reserve area through either helicopter, truck, or other mode of transport. Then, when the animals arrive, they will start a program where a male and female will breed and create an offspring. Or when there is no mate, they will use the clone sperm, where they take the DNA of a nearby related species and use it to create a clone sperm so that the female can use and breed. The history of the program started when humans first used captive breeding on farm animals, like a chicken that lays more eggs or a cow that produces more milk. Starting in the 20th century, scientists and genetic engineering thought maybe they could use this process on endangered animals, and their first target on this project was the Arabian oryx, a species in the Arabian desert that's numbers dwindled from 450 in the 50s to only 50 in the 1960s. The process was started when they hunted the last 50 remaining animals and put them in conserved areas. Once there, they started a breeding program. This was so successful that by the 1980s, they actually started being reintroduced to the wild, and in 2011, their status was reduced from critically endangered to vulnerable. Other animals that had successes included the Siberian tiger, certain rhino species, and the panda. Failures included the white rhino. Reasons for success in the Arabian oryx was that there was still a plenty amount of males and females, like a number like 50. So they could still be brought back to the reserve area and be used for breeding. This applies to the same thing to the panda. The Arabian oryx was bred in Operation Oryx, a plan sent by US President Richard Nixon to make sure this doesn't go extinct. This succeeded. Well, actually it succeeded a lot. And the Arabian oryx was the first animal in the world to be reintroduced to the wild, and also its status reverted back to vulnerable from endangered. The Arabian oryx is a pretty interesting species. How its numbers from 450 fell to 50 grew back to 1,000 and then 7,000. Currently, there are about 7,000 Arabian oryxes in captivity and about 2,000 in the wild. The reason for failure on the sovereign white rhino was because, well, by the time the project started, only 5 remained in captivity and alive. Although this process started, the 3 males and females died along the way. The last male, Sudan, died in 2018, leaving only 2 females still alive living in Kenya. However, because these are females, they could still use sperm cells to breed them. The pros of captive breeding include that first, this may prevent the animal from going extinct since we are reproducing more of the animal. 2, people can now see the formerly endangered and extinct animal in the zoo or the wild. And 3, well, it might destabilize the ecosystem since, well, the animal is being reintroduced into the wild. The comparison of natural breeding in terms is that natural breeding is actually the way to do captive endangered animal breeding. The only difference between the regular one and captive breeding is that one is in a controlled captive environment and the other is in a natural environment. There are some ethical problems to this matter. Firstly, that animal activists and scientists believe that this is very unnatural for an animal to be bred in such way. Second is that the animal may have a change in pattern and activity. Maybe it becomes more sleepy or less sleepy, is less active, cannot differentiate prey and predator, and also carnivores may be less likely to hunt since it is always given food. And third is that zoos and conserve areas do not have the resources enough to support these programs. In conclusion, captive breeding is a great way to preserve and keep endangered animals more alive. However, it has some ethical problems, and I hope in the future they can be fixed and we find a better method to produce more to help stabilize the endangered species numbers. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it.